Hey there, welcome. So, have you ever noticed that your biggest, most brilliant ideas don't seem to happen at your desk? They happen when you're all slouched out on the sofa, right? Well, today we are diving into the hidden power of that comfy posture and, yeah, the secret dangers it might be posing to your back. I mean, it's a question a lot of us have probably asked ourselves. You sit down at a proper desk, in that proper chair, all ready to do serious work, and poof, the inspiration just isn't there. But listen, you're not just being lazy. There's a very real reason your brain might be fighting back against that perfectly ergonomic setup. And this leads us straight into what we're calling the thinker's paradox. It's this constant battle, right? It's the posture we're told is right for being productive, upright, alert, focused, versus the posture where our minds actually feel free to wander and connect and, well, create. And this just confirms that feeling, doesn't it? Desk work really primes our brain for alertness. It's rigid, it's focused, it's perfect for tasks that need that executive function, things like organizing your files or just following a set of instructions. But sofa work? Oh, that's a whole different game. That's where the body relaxes and the mind just opens right up to imagination and real creativity. We're talking two totally different modes of thinking. So, what is actually going on inside our heads? Let's get into it. Let's break down the science behind what we're calling desk brain versus sofa brain and see why these postures create such incredibly different states of mind. Okay, so your desk brain is an absolute expert in what psychologists call convergent thinking. Basically, this is all about zeroing in on a single correct answer. Think paying your bills, filling out a form, solving a math problem. It's analytical, it's illogical, and it absolutely thrives in that high alert, bolt upright posture. But your sofa brain, now, that's wired for divergent thinking. And this is the fun stuff, right? This is brainstorming, connecting ideas that seem totally unrelated, imagining brand new possibilities. When your body relaxes, your brain's daydreaming network just lights up, and that's what allows for those amazing leaps of insight. This actually points to a really deep cultural difference in how we even think about sitting. The typical Western English-style chair, it creates a high, unstable center of gravity. What that does is it forces your muscles to constantly make these tiny little adjustments, which keeps you alert. But the traditional Indian style of sitting on the floor or a low couch, that creates a low, super stable center of gravity. It takes almost no effort, and it encourages this relaxed, contemplative state. So it's not just about the furniture, it's a completely different philosophy of how to engage your mind. So, if you feel like a bit of a genius when you're slouching, guess what? You are in some very, very good company. Let's take a look at the long and pretty celebrated history of brilliant minds who totally rejected the tyranny of the desk. Wow. I mean, you really can't get much clearer than that, can you? The famous author Truman Capote, he just knew it. For him, creativity and being vertical were complete enemies. The real heavy lifting of writing and thinking, it all happened horizontally. And he was not alone. Not by a long shot. Mark Twain wrote some of his masterpieces from his bed. Rabindranath Tagore, the Nobel laureate, often worked while reclining on a divan. The legendary film director Satyajit Ray, he thought up his most brilliant scenes from his easy chair. And Marcel Proust wrote his epic novel entirely in bed. So you see, this isn't laziness, it's a creative technique. And there is some hard science to back all of this up. When you recline, your brain actually produces less noradrenaline. That's a chemical that basically puts you on high alert. With less of that stuff floating around, your brain can make these broader, more creative connections. In fact, some studies show people solve insight puzzles like anagrams way faster when they're lying down. Your brain's daydreaming network gets to work, and the sofa starts to feel like this safe little sandbox for your ideas where you can lower your internal sensor. Okay, so the sofa is fantastic for your mind. We've established that. But while your brain is off having a party, your body might be staging a silent protest. We need to look at the hidden physical cost of all that comfortable creativity. And this right here is the number one culprit. That super common posture, one leg crossed over, the other one stretched out, it creates what biomechanics experts call an asymmetric corkscrew. It feels so relaxed, but it's slowly, quietly twisting your entire core out of alignment. And here's the chain reaction it kicks off. First, on a soft sofa, your hips sink in. It's called the bucket effect, and it tilts your pelvis backward. Second, because your legs are in two different positions, it twists that tilted pelvis into this really unnatural oblique angle. Then, to compensate and keep your eyes level, your spine is forced to twist into this subtle S-curve. So what's the result? You get uneven pressure on your spinal discs, and that is a major long-term risk. But hey, don't despair. You do not have to give up your creative sanctuary. We can have the best of both worlds. So welcome to the Sofa Scholar Protocol, a simple way to get all those awesome cognitive benefits without the orthopedic risks. The whole solution is actually pretty simple, and it's based on 3 core rules. Okay, number 1, alternate your legs regularly. You've got to reverse that twist. 2, add physical props to support your body correctly. And 3, do some simple counter stretches to undo any tension. Let's really focus on step 2 for a second, because this is where you can basically engineer a much better workspace. First, get a firm cushion or even a rolled up towel and stick it behind your lower back for sacral support. This stops your pelvis from tilting backward. Next, put a small pillow under the knee of your outstretched leg. That's going to release a ton of hamstring tension. And finally, use a lap desk or maybe a stack of firm pillows to bring your work up to elbow height. This keeps your neck in a nice, safe, neutral position. So the takeaway here is really clear. That instinct you have to retreat to the sofa for deep thinking, it's not just valid, it's biologically and historically supported. The key is to work with your body, not against it. By making just a few simple tweaks, you can create a space that's a total haven for both your mind and your spine. So the only question left is, what are you going to create?